What's up, watchers? It's Mark from tonight's watch. We got Luke here.
Hello, hello.
And Tony.
What's up, everybody?
This week, we are, of course, reviewing Luke's pick with Thor Ragnarok, the 2017 Taika Waititi Marvel film. Luke will run us through the synopsis of the film, we will give our ratings, and do a full plot rundown. Thank you for joining us, and if you enjoy this episode, consider rating and reviewing. We'd love to hear your feedback. Luke, you can start with the synopsis.
Okay. The Thor series takes a different turn in this installment in the MCU, complete with Led Zeppelin, gladiator duels, Jeff Goldblum, and shake weights. When Odin croaks on a cliff, Thor's evil sister Hela is released from her captivity, prompting her return to the throne of Asgard. Once Hela obliterates Thor's hammer, he and Loki are thrown to a planet run by the almighty Jeff Goldblum. Once Thor's hair is cut and he fights Hulk in a gladiator match that reminded me of that PlayStation Move game called Sports Champions Mark and I played too much as youngsters.
Nice.
He recruits Valkyrie and Bruce to team up as the Revengers. They escape through the Devil's Anus back to Asgard, where Hela has been out and about doing her evil things. As if destroying his hammer wasn't enough, Hela hits Thor's eye out of its socket and is about to brutally murder him when Thor channels his inner Electro and goes full Lightning Boy. He tells Loki to summon the evil monster Surtur to cause Ragnarok, making Asgard literally explode in order to defeat Hela. The surviving Asgardians board a ship in space, marking this as the new Asgard because Asgard is a people, not a place. My shortest synopsis yet.
Shortest synopsis because there's almost no story in this
morning.
Oh, let's get to ratings.
Let's hear your rating, Luke.
Well, I don't think this is a bad film. So I will disagree with Mark from the get-go. I think it's decent. I gave it a 7.3 out of 10.
Pretty decent.
There are hit and misses for me there, but I actually think it's a good film. But I didn't, love it. Love and Thunder, am I right?
People would agree with you.
Most people would. Tony, what's your rating?
My rating is a 7.5 out of 10.
Whoa.
Isn't that the same as Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think so. I think you gave a 7.5 for it, yeah.
I think this is better than Spider-Man. I have to give it a 7.7.
Okay, 7.7.
Nice.
7.7, because this movie does what a lot of other superhero movies don't do, to be honest, and it breaks the mold, and it's refreshing to see, especially when it's in a series of movies that are how many MCU movies are there? At least 20?
1,000?
22, 3, something like that.
It breaks the mold really well, and it sets a good spot that fans love for one of the main superheroes. I think a problem with the MCU is there's a bunch of superheroes and, people like different ones, and it's hard to, find a spot for each. And I think they find Thor's spot in this one.
Respect.
Respect. Okay.
That's my rating.
Okay.
Here we go.
If you would have asked me straight out of the theater, it would have been a lower rating. Okay?
Okay.
So I try to watch this with an open mind and a critical eye, and then take it from there, okay?
Okay.
I still think this is an extremely average movie, even with all the benefits. I gave it a 5.3. If you asked me straight out of the theater, I might have said a 3. My emotions towards this movie are a 3 out of 10, but I think it's a 5.3 out of 10 movie. It's not the worst movie of all time. I know I'm going to get hate mail for this, so send it to tonightswatchpodcast@gmail.com. It's not the worst movie of all time, but I don't think it's that good. And part of the problem is my least favorite thing about Marvel movies is when they throw in these cringy jokes, and I feel like that's all this movie is. And it doesn't feel like what it's trying to be. It's trying to be like a new Guardians type of thing, right? And I think Thor fits well in Guardians in Infinity War with the group. But I don't feel like this has the same type of tone that they were going for. It just feels like Marvel cringe, Marvel cringe, Marvel cringe. And so that's why I would come out of the theater 3 out of 10. But then this time, just trying to look past that, I still don't think it's very good. I really hate Hela, and I think she's one of the worst out of all the bad ones we've gotten in Marvel, she is terrible. I really don't like her. And I just think this movie will sit in the shadow of Guardians of the Galaxy forever, because that's what they're trying to go for, but they're just not that good at it.
I think this movie is better than Justice League. Like, immensely better than Justice League. Immensely better than Justice League. And my problem with that is how... Do you take this movie as seriously as you would Justice League? No, because it's very obviously like a comedic movie and one of a many series. But then if you take Justice League seriously, it's horrible. So you have to go in brain dead to watch that movie. But then if you go in brain dead watching this movie, it's just all around better.
I think my brain deadness, I can take more of mindless action with like it's still, I just hate, it's not my kind of comedy. And that's just what the entire movie is. And so it's really, really hard for me to get into it. And I really tried, but I just can't enjoy it. And I do think it's a average movie. Like, I won't put in the threes like I thought, but I still don't think it's that good. And I think a lot of the story elements are really, really bad.
But I could say that about Justice League. I think Justice League has worse story moments. It has worse story.
See, but I disagree with that. I actually think that the story in Justice League is better than the story in Thor Ragnarok.
We'll get into it, but I even think that Steppenwolf is a worse villain than Hela.
I disagree.
He has absolutely zero motivation.
Wait, okay.
And you really don't know what he's going on.
Okay. Let's talk about this movie. We can compare it later, okay? To Justice League.
We'll compare it along the way.
As we go along.
That's fair. That is the most recent one. I also feel like this is a bottom tier MCU movie for me.
This is a top tier MCU movie.
I might be the only person in the world that thinks it's a bottom tier.
I think you are one of the bottom. Just by the way, this is like the fourth highest MCU movie to Rotten Tomatoes critics, and it has an audience score of 87%.
I've heard a lot of people talk about it, saying that they even like it more than Infinity War, which is insane to me. And I really, this time, guys, I promise you, I tried to go in and I really actually wanted to like it. I actually wanted to like it and was like, okay, maybe I'll see what everyone else sees, and I just don't get it. I don't get it, and I don't think I ever will, and this might be the last time I ever watch it.
Yay.
I think it's fine that you have that opinion, but we'll get into why you're wrong as we start off this plot.
That's fair.
Go ahead,
I'm ready to get destroyed in this one because I know I'm in the vast minority in hating this movie.
Well, Matt agrees with you, yeah.
I think he liked it more than I did. I was very against this when I first saw it, but we'll get into it. Go ahead, Luke.
So it opens up with Thor in a cage in Surtur's lair.
Okay, I have a problem with it.
Go on.
I get that he's like talking to the skeleton, but they're trying to establish this like new tone, right? And the problem with the other two Thor movies is that like they wanted to do something completely different, right? And I don't mind them doing that, but it starts off in just like such a weird way for this movie that Ragnarok is like basically the apocalypse, right? Like that's
yes.
And I didn't expect this to be as stupid as it was. Like, it's stupid intentionally, but I didn't want this to be the story that was just stupid, where he's talking to the camera in the beginning. I didn't like it.
They have tried, though. They have tried with previous Thor movies. And I think it's important to understand that all these MCU movies are for a certain demographic, and what matters most to these MCU movies is not like winning Oscars or like telling incredible stories, but it's to appeal to like their main demographic, which is a lot of people because these movies do really well, but those are kids included in that. And I think when you have movies like Thor 1 and 2 where they just flop really, really badly, when they're just trying to do like a regular Thor, quote-unquote Thor-style movie, and it forces them into this other direction, you can't be too mad about it.
I don't disagree completely, because I think this is still better than the other two Thors. The bottom tier for me, for Marvel movies, like off the top of my head, are all three Thors, because I don't like this one either, and Captain Marvel. So
which
like
is insane.
I don't feel like this one's that much
this is
better.
put in there with all the other Thors.
That's honestly how I feel, in a different way completely. Like, it's a completely different way. I just don't enjoy it. I don't have fun watching this movie.
I like, actually, watching it this time, that Ragnarok, like, that this movie is funny, because I feel like if Marvel was gonna do a Ragnarok sort of thing, and make it like the end of days, and it's the darkest thing in Norse mythology, I don't think they would do it very well. Because it'd just be them fighting Surtur, and I'm kind of glad he just dies.
Yeah.
I don't think Hela's any better though.
I don't like Hela either. I don't like
think
her as a
Hela's.
villain.
I think you could say that about every single MCU villain.
I
don't think
honestly
there's
think
any
Thanos-
good
but
MCU villain.
think about this.
Except for Thanos.
What we got after this movie was Black Panther with Killmonger, probably top 2 with Thanos with being villains, and
yes.
like we're starting to go into a new age where they're actually having better villains. I even liked Ghost in Ant-Man and Wasp. She was way more compelling than Hela, and Hela feels like an old school bad MCU movie, like that. It would go, if this movie wasn't what people love with like the jokey fun times, she'd be down there with Obadiah Stane getting in the fucking getting in the Iron Man suit at the end, where it's just like, where is this coming from? And I think that
but also my problem with that is I don't think Hela is the main villain in this story.
Then there is no main villain.
Which is completely fine. I think the biggest problem that Thor faces is finding himself, and Hela's just like a device to get there.
I don't feel like it portrays it very well, though. Like
I don't
think
really
the entire part of the thing is him losing his hammer, right? So he loses his hammer in this movie, and Hela is also again a device for this. And then he's like in this powerless state, and then through like flash or like visions with his dad, he has to find out who he is inside and how is he strong. How is he the god of thunder without like some stupid hammer? What is he as a character and what is he as a hero? And I think that is the problem that's solved through this movie.
Go ahead, Luke. I'm sorry.
I agree with that. I don't really like Hela, and also just story wise, it's kind of weird.
It's
that
very...
Odin just dies, and then she's like the ruler of that. It's kind of weird, but I do like that Thor basically loses his hair, his eyeball, and his hammer.
I don't like that they changed that back in Infinity War, though. I kind of like the eye patch.
There's things I don't like about Infinity War because they just like overturn a lot of stuff.
Do you like Infinity War better than this?
I like Infinity War better than this, but what they do with Thor in Infinity War doesn't seem like a continuation of what is in this movie.
Spoilers for Infinity War. My favorite part was that they just killed all the Asgardians, because fuck this movie. It's not good, and it's not funny.
I remember, Mark, do you like... sorry.
I was just going to say, my favorite part of this movie is when it's serious, or the action. Those are the best parts, but everything in between feels like super long and super boring to me, and cringy. But the good parts are why I gave it a little bit higher than an average rating, because the good parts are really good. I like that he learns how to use the lightning without his hammer, all that crap. I still don't like that it cuts to Odin and he's talking. That just felt like Cyborg talking in his head to some, people at ATMs.
Which is bad.
Both bad.
Mark, I was going to ask if you like Korg in this movie. This will tie into Infinity War.
I liked him in some scenes more than others this time. I liked him in the beginning this time, and I still didn't like him at the end.
I remember when we first watched it, you did not like him, and you thought he just got obliterated at the beginning of Infinity War.
I wish
but then he was in Endgame when they were playing video games.
I think he's fine in the beginning part where they meet Thor, he meets Thor, the way he talks works. But not later in the movie where it's supposed to be serious. So they're on the bridge. And he's like, "Hey, you want to come with?" I don't think that works. It doesn't work for me.
Okay, so I think what you want is a more serious telling of this story. But right. I think a problem with the MCU is we have already had 15 other serious tellings of stories.
That's why I like that it's more humorous. But Mark, don't worry, God of War 5.
That'll be the Ragnarok I deserve.
Yes.
I agree partially, Tony, because my favorites are like Infinity War, Endgame, but then it's like the Guardians and Spider-Man, which aren't serious, and I just feel like this tries to be those and it's just not as good.
I don't get that this is trying to be those, though.
It really feels like it's trying to be like Guardians to me. It really feels.
I also
like
feel that way because of the music that they play, and also
there's no reason for it to play.
They lead up to that.
There's a reason in Guardians for music to play because he has his little Walkman, and there's a reason. But in
they're
this,
not like
it's just
playing
like
80s music in this.
But his theme becomes the immigrant song, and it's like I
that's
think
like
it
the
works for
same
the scenes, but it just
rock
doesn't
song.
really make sense.
It's like the same rock song though. It's like one rock song, and it plays it.
Yeah.
But it's also
times.
like this happened with AC/DC in like Iron Man because he played it in his suit. There's always a reason, and then now they're like, that worked. We don't know how to make this start playing because he's up in Asgard or wherever in space. But we'll just like make it kind of like his theme anyway. I don't like it.
But then it's also kind of like I don't like. Then you could say like music in like any superhero movie is just kind of dumb unless they like implement it somehow. Unless this guy's carrying an MP3 player or he has a suit, then this music during the scene is dumb.
I just don't feel like it fit very well. I mean, the action where it played on the bridge at the end was like my favorite part of the movie. I think it works with the scene. I just wanted them to give some kind of explanation on why. Maybe the ship can fucking play it for all I care. The ship can have a music player. Just something like. I don't know. They always try to explain it, and I feel like they're just like, in this one, they're like, fuck it. And I feel like this movie's a lot of fuck it, and people love that, and I just don't.
So, with pertaining to the Guardians of the Galaxy, I think they share in some of the jokes, like this MCU trying to appeal to kids' humor type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like characters like Korg and the humor that comes from him is like really Taika Waititi. Like a Taika Waititi style of humor. And I don't feel like that's like what James Gunn directing Guardians of the Galaxy type itch.
There's this was also not written by Taika Waititi, so maybe when he does Love and Thunder, because he's writing that movie, maybe I'll like it more, because this was not written by him. So he obviously adds jokes as a director, but you never like know what he implemented.
And
what was in the script
especially because he voices Korg himself, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I liked Korg sometimes. Sometimes he was cringe to me, too cringe for sometimes. I'm sorry, we need to continue. Luke, continue.
Well, let's talk about a joke. When he's spinning on the chain as Surtur is giving his speech about Ragnarok.
It's so cringy.
What did you think?
So cringy.
Tony, what do you think of that?
So this is my part. This is where, like, this is one of the scenes where I don't mind it. I don't love it, but it's fine because I know what the purpose of it is for. Like, that would get a theater full of kids, like, laughing and dying.
That's all this movie is. All the jokes are for 13-year-old kids.
I'm saying even younger kids. That's a joke for younger kids.
But even like later, where he throws the ball and it hits him in the head, that's like a 6-year-old joke. And I'm like,
yeah,
why?
but I'm saying
I just hate
whoa,
it.
Whoa! But I'm saying is that 6-year-olds will be watching this movie.
But I'm allowed to hate it as a 22-year-old man.
Yes,
you're allowed. I don't know.
I'm allowed to hate it. I'm allowed to think it's cringe.
You're allowed
to
hate it. You're allowed to hate it, but you could be wrong about hating it.
It's an opinion.
I think
opinions
when
are
you get
subjective.
I think when you get to the point where you understand why it's there, then you can dislike it, or you can like it.
So
or
in
you
Justice
can feel
League,
neutral
in
about
Justice League, all this over the style like slow mo is for those fanboys who like Zack Snyder movies. It's for them, so you're not allowed to critique it. Is that what you're saying?
I said I'm allowed to dislike it and I'm allowed to like it, but I'm not going to hate this over stylized part of Justice League. But I dislike it.
Okay, I dislike.
Which is what I
part.
just said.
I
Which is what I just said. By
Fair.
the way.
Okay, I dislike this part and I think it's cringy.
Okay, you can dislike this part and think it's cringy.
You're not allowed to tell me what I can and cannot think about this movie.
That I
Like
just
Lost.
said. I literally just said, okay, you can dislike it and think
saying
it's
I
cringy,
can
and then you
think,
say that.
You saying I'm allowed to
I
condescend.
just said
That's
that.
patronizing.
I did not even say
Patronizing
the
me.
word
I can
allowed.
hear the
I did not
condescension.
even say
You're just
the
saying
word
it
allowed.
Okay, continue, Luke. I'm
Did
I'm
not
done
even
being
say the word
bullied.
allowed.
I'm done being bullied.
He fights Surtur's creatures, Am I pronouncing that right? Surtar.
I don't know.
You know what? And there's good CGI in this. And there's
I liked
first
this. I
I
person
don't think his
hammer
mouth looks
throws.
good.
And there's first person hammer throws. But you know what I can say about Justice League is I can say I don't like how any of this looks. And I don't like how the CGI is in Justice League.
I don't like whatever the big monster's name is. I hate his mouth. I don't think the CGI looks good. But I think
thought you were talking about Thor's mouth.
Thor's mouth looks pretty good in this, let's be honest.
Okay.
But I like the part where he throws his hammer and it goes back, and it's from the perspective of that. I actually
liked that, yeah.
Good. I agree.
And I
do
song.
like things in this movie. I just dislike a lot more.
I like the
All
song.
right, Luke, roll us out. Uh-huh.
Okay, but as he's fighting, we meet Scourge, and that's the shake weight scene.
And I think it's important.
Character
It's
ever
important.
introduced next to Kat Dennings in Thor 2. Or she was in Thor
I think it's important. I think it's important to add that he has this dream, this reoccurring dream that Skirter will destroy Asgard, which gets called back later.
Yes, and
I don't know if there were any callbacks in Justice League.
Okay, no more Justice League talk.
He has
I'm
to rip
just
the crown off.
describing why I think this movie is better than Justice League.
Okay.
Because that was one of our
But people might listen
latest
to this
podcasts.
and they might not listen to the Justice League because that movie, they don't want to watch that garbage movie.
I
So,
think then they have made the right choice.
and just to listen to this anyway. Continue, Luke.
Okay, he has to rip the crown off of Surtur's head, which comes back later, okay? To defeat him. But we meet Scourge, and has Heimdall's job. Heimdall?
Yes.
Man, I cannot pronounce
Heimdall's
these names.
job.
Okay,
The
Mark
shake
does not
weight
like
part,
Scourge. I don't like
the
Scourge
shake
either.
weight part might be the worst part in all of the MCU. And that's just facts. A shake weight in a Thor movie, like that one. I think that's when I just checked out in the theater when I first saw this. I was like, I'm not doing this.
And I like Carl Urban too. In almost
he's
every
Bones,
movie
right?
he's in.
He's Bones and
He's Bones
Star Trek.
and Billy Butcher from The Boys, and he's very good. He is not.
He
I don't
sucks
like him
in
in
this
this.
movie.
Whoa.
And then they try to give him a redemption arc after he allowed Hela to kill everybody.
Look,
It's
he
so
doesn't
bad.
have a big part in this movie,
But it's all
to,
cringe.
like-
It's all cringe.
which is fine because you're not the demographic that they're trying to appeal towards with his character. I think that's my biggest problem with your despicable hatred for this movie.
It's an average
that
movie.
it's
I give
like
it an average
watching-
movie.
I think it's
That's
like
true, you can't give it average.
watching it's like watching ABCs for the 3-year-olds, and then you're like, God damn, this movie fucking sucks.
We have an MCU. We have an MCU with Infinity War, where Thanos chokes the fuck out of Loki and kills him, and is brutal, and that whole movie's badass. And I just can't go back to this. And I love Spider-Man, a
But this
more
came
lighthearted
out
one.
before.
Yes,
This came
and
out
so did Spider-Man,
before.
which is more lighthearted. So did Guardians, which is all jokey fun times. And this just does it. It's just for fucking 4-year-olds.
Which
Okay.
is fine. Which is fine.
Which
4-year-olds.
I hate. It's fine. Okay, my 4-year-old rating 8 out of 10.
Thank you.
My rating 1.2.
This man thinks
So
this
even
is
it out,
movie.
you got your-
Wait. This man thinks this movie is worse than Gone in 60 Seconds.
I'm kidding. I was kidding.
Openly,
I was kidding.
the openly racist movie.
No, I was
That
kidding.
makes fun of minorities. This
Okay,
movie
okay.
is worse.
1.2
than it.
was just something I threw out. It's
Write
a
it down.
5.3.
Write it down.
I don't want to be
We
known
digress.
for this. I don't want to be
We
known.
digress. Title sequence. He's back in Asgard, okay?
That was a cool ass transition.
Sure.
I liked the transition. I liked it. Okay.
Thank you, Luke. Luke, you need to speak up about why you like this movie.
Well, okay. So far, I've liked what has happened in this movie. I'll just say that. The chain joke was fine.
Are you 4
And-
years old?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That would make a lot more sense.
Okay. There's a humongous
Luke, you know what I
statue-
think it. You know what I think about with people with good sense of humor is they have a good sense of humor and they can
I see.
understand jokes for all types, and they could not like it, but they understand it. That's what I like about people with good
I
sense
do
of humor.
not
You can
know
continue.
who would
Luke.
enjoy
You can
these
continue,
movies.
Luke.
I just cannot enjoy this humor, and it hurts my brain to think anyone does.
Hey, you're not alone. I was looking at the IMDb ratings, and there were a lot of 3s. And a lot of
Okay,
1s.
those people know what they're talking about.
I
But
think
it
there's
does
a
have a
lot of-
7.9, though. Very high.
Those people are wrong.
So I
there's
don't...
a lot of
Justice League has a higher rating on IMDb. So
there's a lot
does.
of bitter people about this movie. There's a lot of bitter people who will rate it very
Rightfully,
low, and then
rightfully.
there's regular people with good sense of humor who can see it for
good
what it
sense
is.
of
But
humor.
you could go
That's
on. Luke.
hilarious.
I
You
see.
can go on, Luke.
Good sense of
Subjective,
humor in this
interesting. Okay. He's back in Asgard. Heimdall got charged with negligence of duty because Loki is Odin, and that was in a post-credit scene for what movie? Was it Thor
The
2?
Dark World, yes. And when you see that at the end of the Dark World, you're like, hey, maybe the next one will be better because he's on the throne, and the next movie is Ragnarok, like the apocalypse. And then we get this where it's undone immediately because they're trying to like go away from the Thor stuff, which
Because
I'm
people
fine
have
with.
hated it. Because people hated it.
I agree, it's
And
worse.
they
I
rate
just
it the worst.
I
movie.
agree,
They
it's worse.
literally
I'm
rate
allowed to
the
have
second
opinions.
Thor movie as
allowed
the
to
worst
have
movie in the
opinions.
MCU.
Captain Marvel now sits on that throne, Tony. Let's be honest.
No, I'm saying like actually people, like regular people and critics, I think have rated the second Thor as the worst movie.
No, it did. I think it held it until Captain Marvel. People hate Captain Marvel. I also hate Captain Marvel. This movie is better than Captain Marvel.
I believe they
No,
have
but
the
I
same
mean, like,
rating
I'm
on
looking
IMDb,
at a
so.
list. I'm looking at a list of the Dark World, and it has a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that is the lowest.
Dude, that's certified fresh.
I'm not saying that one's good. That movie's
Is it?
bad. That movie's worse than this. It's just like they
Captain Marvel-
undone it, which is bad storytelling. Even if they did it because people because people didn't like that style, it's still bad storytelling.
Captain Marvel has a worse audience score, but a better certified fresh score. But I think you could say that about Infinity War too, then, because it undoes this movie, so it's bad writing.
Because this movie's bad, so it works.
I don't know about, but you can't take this movie and see the success that it has, and then undo that success, and then you say, yes, this movie was bad, and undoing it was a good thing.
This is by far the most frustrating. It's not the worst in the MCU, but it's the most frustrating for me because I don't understand why people like it so much.
What I'm saying is, if you think that them undoing the writing of an actually bad movie that like many people think is bad and is actually rated bad is bad, then the same thing can be said about Infinity War. Except Infinity War's case would be worse because this movie actually did well.
But okay. You can continue. I understand what you're saying, Tony. I think it's just the fact that this is Thor 3, and then whatever happened in 2 is just like, nah, fuck it. When Infinity War is just trying to get them together, so no one really cares about Thor's part.
Matt Damon is the actor who...
Oh, yeah, here we go. This is when I'm already checked out because of Shake Weight, and then we see Matt Damon, I'm like, this
you don't
movie is
like that?
goofy.
I
Movie
like
What is
goofy.
problem
I like
with
Matt Damon as
that
fake
movie?
Loki.
I do too, Luke. I do too.
That's actually
This
one of my
movie-
favorite parts.
And you know what I like about this movie? You know what I like about this movie? I don't like the shake weight scene, but you know what it does? It's a tone promise. It promises
tone.
that
I don't
this
like the shake
movie
weight. I don't
is
like
gonna be this goofy movie. And seeing Matt Damon as Loki is just another
rather watch a
goofy
goofy movie.
thing.
Oh,
Goofy
Look,
movie,
an
if you know what I'm
extremely
saying.
goofy movie?
An extremely
An
goofy
extremely
movie, yeah.
goofy movie. And I think this Matt Damon scene with like Sam Neill and Luke Hemsworth playing in this play.
Oh, that's who the other
Is
people
good.
were. Thank you.
Yeah,
Luke
Luke.
Hemsworth. Oh, snap.
I don't
That's
see
his
the
brother,
hate
right?
for this scene. I don't understand the hate for this scene. Yeah,
I
it is
don't like
Chris
that
Hemsworth's
it was
brother.
like very well known.
He's in
actors.
Westworld.
It's just obvious that it's like it takes me out of the world.
Luke
when I
didn't
see-
even
Okay.
know that it was fucking Sam Neill and Luke Hemsworth.
Well, Luke's an idiot, and Luke liked this movie, so
Okay. Thor realizes that Odin is not Odin, and he is his brother Loki, and he
the
does
best
that
part
by
about
throwing
this
his
movie.
hammer.
The best part about
Oh,
this movie is
the
Loki.
best part.
Yes.
Oh. I like Loki in this movie.
I think they
Yes,
had a
very
lot of
good.
interesting scenes together, and he is by far the best actor in this group.
I do like Tom Hiddleston a lot, yeah. Okay. What happens?
This is your job. Don't you dare make me do it.
I was
this time.
trying to skip through all this play
Look,
stuff,
this
okay?
next scene where he
goes-
throws his hammer and puts his hand behind Loki's head is one of the coolest scenes ever. And it actually plays
like it.
into Thor's power. He throws the hammer.
I don't
and
know
he's
if it's
like,
the coolest scene ever.
I don't think coolest scene
He's
ever,
like-
but I do like it.
he's like, yeah, my hammer will come back to my hand. Do you want to like test that? I think it was cool. It's not the coolest scene ever, but it's very cool.
Yes,
I agree because I agree that was a cool scene. Okay.
I will say I like seeing Anthony Hopkins play.
I
Odin.
hate Odin. I
Yes.
hate Odin.
I don't like
of these
Odin,
movies.
but I like where he's being an idiot as Loki.
Oh, as Loki,
because you don't
okay,
really
that's
see
fair.
that as Anthony Hopkins. I don't
Yes.
like Odin's character. He also we'll get to that when he dies.
He sucks in all these movies. He's the reason. We'll get to that.
Yeah, it's very strange. Okay,
He
they
sucks
go to
in all of the movies.
Earth. The Shady Acres retirement home is
I
in
thought that
rubble.
was funny. I thought that
Did,
was funny. That Loki puts
yeah, go on.
Odin in a fucking retirement home on Earth. That's hilarious to me.
Why was it in rubble?
I think it was in a
They just tore it down.
disaster or something.
Oh, what disaster
Because-
happened in the previous ones?
Well, Thor: The Dark World was after Age of Ultron,
No, it was before.
so maybe it happened during Avengers because Thor left in the middle of Ultron. I don't know.
Does
It's
Doctor
just-
Strange not also happen during this time?
Doctor Strange happened right before it. Did something happen?
Maybe I don't know.
Anyways, Doctor Strange comes in and
I do
transports.
not like this scene.
Oh, yeah, okay. Go on.
I just think this is just so much cringy jokes with him and like filling up his beer, and I just don't like it. It's like it's unnecessary to me how long this scene goes just to throw in more jokes.
I don't like Doctor Strange, first of all.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's not a great joke, but it's like not cringe. I don't see him fill up the glass and I'm like, ugh, cringe.
I didn't mind the beer joke. You didn't like the one where he's putting the knives back, did you? And then they fall over.
I don't like any of the scene. Yeah, I don't like any of this.
I didn't really like the knives one, but
It's fine. I think
okay.
it's fine. It's whatever. I don't care.
You're just giving this movie so many passes on how like this stuff that's like not good, but you're like it's fine, it's not for me. But you
know what?
You'll hate on other movies, which that are
because
also not
it's
for
a
That is
tone
true.
promise.
That is
It's
true.
because it's
Thank
a
you,
tone
Luke.
promise. Though.
Thank
It
you,
comes
Luke.
in here and it tells me what this movie's gonna be, and I'm like fine with it.
Luke,
Well,
you
my
agree
thing is
he's
also
double
I'm
standard
fine
here?
with it. Give me another movie that I'm double standard for. Give me another movie. I'm
Justice
double
League.
standard
It's not for you, and you're hating stuff that people like about it. It's the
for.
same thing.
So can I talk about Justice League? Am I allowed to talk about Justice League now?
god!
Am I allowed?
Am I
I'm not
allowed to talk
I'm
about
not allowed to eat the seeds. Wait, the skin. I'm sorry.
Am I allowed to talk about Justice
Why
League?
not?
All right, go on your
Am I
go on a
allowed to
tangent.
talk
You
about
can
Justice
go
League?
on your Justice League tangent. Go ahead.
I literally just say in that scene, I don't care for it. It's fine, but I don't dislike it. So that's a 5 in that scene for me already. And in this movie has already told me what it's gonna be, and I know it. And then when I go into Justice League and it says, hey, this is a 4-hour movie and it's in 4x3 because we want to keep the artisticness of this movie, I'm like,
But that's
oh,
good for some people.
wow.
Like I didn't
Okay.
mind
It's good
it.
for some people.
okay, this movie is so self-serious that it's gonna drag its ass for 4
All
hours
I'm saying-
and force me in this 4x3 aspect ratio.
All-
And then there's things that I genuinely dislike about it.
I genuinely
Not that I'm
dislike
fine,
these movies. I
that I'm
genuinely
not
dislike
fine
this
about
movie.
it.
So you
It's
can't.
all a matter
you
of
can't get
taste.
mad. But what
It's
I'm
all a
saying,
matter of taste.
But what I'm saying is, you can't get mad at me for saying these things are
But
cringe
I
because they're
didn't-
cringe to me. So you
But
can't.
what I'm saying, but I'm not saying Justice League is cringe. Like it's so
You
like
said that all the time. You
It's
hate
like
it.
so
You give it a
weird.
4. You give it a
Whoa,
4.
whoa,
You're
whoa.
mad that I'm giving it a 5.
I think we have
on
different. I think we have different examples of cringe.
I see.
I think we have different examples.
Cringe
Cringe
is
isn't just like
subjective.
bad. It's not like, oh, this is bad. Like cringe is like, ugh, like a guttural, visceral reaction.
This. Okay, I will say
And to
this
say
beer
that
scene
you've
is
got
not
a
cringe.
guttural, visceral reaction that like makes you shiver and like, ugh, because the beer refills is like crazy to me.
Okay, beer refills, not cringe, also not funny. But shake weight,
Which is fine,
the most
which is
cringy
fine.
part of anything I've ever seen in any movie of all time.
Shake weight is fine for you to say cringe, but to like
But I'm
at
saying
every
it, like,
little
I-
joke, but every little joke.
Yes,
can't
because
just
they
be
keep adding
cringe.
to each other.
It's
Because
just
it's like,
like,
get
oh,
me
that's
to the
cringe.
story.
This is
Get me to
cringe.
the story.
Oh,
I
this
don't
is so
care about
cringe.
any of this. When you keep adding bad jokes after bad jokes after bad jokes, it compiles into cringe. Because I'm like, just get me through it. One beer joke, just because we've already
But
had
that's more like-
fucking jokes for 20 minutes of the film that I don't care about. Then
But
when
that's
beer
more of
happens,
your
I do
hatred.
cringe.
That's more of your hatred for the jokes. But like,
because the jokes are so bad in this movie. It is the worst jokes
bad.
in all of the MCU. In any superhero movie I've ever seen, the jokes are the worst here. I was coming in this trying to keep my blood pressure low. I was trying to be nice, but you are heating me up, man. This movie sucks. This movie sucks so
I
bad.
think it's funny. So
Luke,
I was in
you know what? Wait, Luke. But I will say this.
Yeah.
He can think that, right? But we know that not everybody thinks that way. So when he speaks like this movie sucks, you guys are wrong, I'm right. It's like
that was Tony in Justice League.
Only you thinking.
But that was you in Justice League.
You also did that with Justice.
Yes, thank you. It's fine that I'm doing that, but you did the same thing, so don't dock me on that.
But you're doing it way more than I did for Justice League. You're literally screaming.
I don't know about that.
About
Tony,
like the smallest things in this
Luke,
movie, though. But that's my problem.
Did Tony yell at the smallest things in Justice League?
He yelled.
What?
Thank you.
I think I yelled about legitimate problems with the Justice League.
And these are legitimate problems. They're bad jokes, and that's a legitimate problem to me.
Okay, I just want to point out something funny. Is this morning I was in the living room, and I could hear Mark audibly groan at redemption arc.
I saw that I had like 30 minutes left, and I was like, how is this not over?
I thought that was funny.
It took me 4 times. Okay, I will say, the first 20 minutes are possibly the worst of the movie for me. Okay. And then I stopped it after 20 minutes because I couldn't handle anymore. And then I watched maybe an hour, and that hour was better. So, like, this first part, I really hate. All of this first part, I really hate. I think it gets a little bit better, and then it gets worse at the end again.
So
I think it's crazy to compare my reaction to Justice League.
Oh my God, we're done with it.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
You can't do that though. I can't. I talk about Justice League, right? I talk about Justice League.
You hated
oh
it.
my God, Tony's talking about Justice League again, and then you bring up Justice League again.
Okay, how about this?
Wait, Luke, does that make sense to you? I'm not allowed to bring up Justice League. I'm just not allowed to talk about it.
That doesn't really
but
make
then
sense.
every time,
nobody bring up Justice League.
No more Justice League is off the table.
Back up.
Okay, Justice League is off the table for both
off
of us.
the table.
Off
The
the table.
4-hour-long movie is off the table. No talking about this 4-hour-long movie.
I'd rather watch that again in
that's
black
in
and white.
4x3 that makes absolutely no sense. I do want to get into this aspect of this movie versus Justice League. That's an important aspect.
Got him.
That is an important aspect. Thor is not able to defeat the main villain in this movie, and he has to rely on someone else. And you know what happens in Justice League? You get Superman and you win. G fucking G. The movie's goddamn over because you have Superman.
I agreed that was a bad part. Were you not listening during when we did that? I agreed that was a bad part. I said overall, yeah. I just said that movie in all is a much more enjoyable time than this movie is to me.
Which is fine for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Continue, Luke.
We're civil. Truce.
Doctor
Truce.
Strange says...
No, I need to hear it. Truce.
I will not talk about Justice League.
I will not talk about
Justice League anymore.
I will just talk
about...
Or the
podcast that pertained to Justice League.
Okay. I will also... And... Okay, we're good. We're chilling.
Doctor Strange says Odin is in Norway.
That's fine.
And then
no issues. No issues here.
And then they go to Norway.
This part looked like really bad green screen to me. It didn't look real.
Oh, okay.
Norway did not look real to me.
I kind of liked how it looked. I liked the cliff with the water.
I also liked how it looked.
I'm not saying that it looks bad. I'm just saying it didn't look real. It looked like it was a green screen. There were standings. It was weird. Like the background. It looked like they maybe added the clouds to fit the tone. That kind of thing. Like where the cliff was real. That's what I thought.
Get the same.
I didn't get it watching it. I can get what you say about the clouds, but I still like how it looks.
It's fine. But Odin is... Oh, can we talk about Odin real quick?
Odin
is a bad character from all the Thor movies.
I think I really hate Hela in this movie, and it is the biggest cop-out and easiest way to write of, I wanted to protect you. I didn't tell you about your sister who's trying to bring the apocalypse. What the fuck is that writing? Like, I hate that because, like, it is the most... I'd rather her just be a generic bad guy than, I didn't tell you about this bad guy because I tried to disown her. But why wouldn't you say, hey, you have a sister and she might try to come kill you? Why wouldn't you say that ever?
He also says it, like, so calmly that he's
Why
about to
wouldn't
die, and then that Hela's about to kill everybody. It's a little...
Like,
it's
why
strange.
wouldn't you ever tell him that? It's not like he's going to be offended. He should prepare for it.
Okay, I agree with Mark's part. Luke, I think that part where he says it so calmly is because he believes that they're all dead anyways. Because he says it doesn't matter,
gosh.
Ragnarok's already here.
Okay.
I hate him.
Yeah, so Odin's not, like, a hero, right? Because it said in this movie that he killed people.
Yes,
with
but
Hela.
but that's also, they try to make him a hero and, like, talking to Thor, making him find his abilities, still trying to make him out to be this amazing person, but they say he's a bad guy. He doesn't tell them about this person who's trying to bring them they're trying to make him a hero, but he's just a bad guy.
Yeah.
I think he's a bad guy who they're trying to shade a light at, like, especially at the end of movie, they're trying to shade him in a way where it's like, right? Like, he's a bad guy, and they don't want, like, people coming out of the audience to be like, oh yeah, Odin was, like, a murdering dictator, blah 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 blah. So they try to shed a light a different way at the end of the movie to change how,
what they
like,
try to
viewers might perceive it.
That's what they try to do with that one guy, the shake weight boy. Like, Scourge. And I don't like it because it doesn't make any sense why he would not tell him about Hela. And she sucks in this movie, honestly.
Okay, so Hela appears as Odin fades away. And then they fight her. And Thor's hammer just gets destroyed.
This is just what I hate. She's so powerful. Why wouldn't she, like Odin's a feeble old man. Why does she have to wait for him to die?
Some spell, I think.
Spells.
Yes.
Spells is, then why didn't he just say, when I die?
Whoa.
What I'm saying is,
wait.
if there's spells and stuff, right, then why doesn't he say, hey, Thor, you're really powerful. Once I die, there's a spell on me, and your older sister is gonna come wreak havoc and destroy Asgard. That's what I'm saying.
That's
why
why
doesn't
I
he
agree
just
about
tell them?
Hela and
They
Odin.
should have established this in the first movie if this was supposed to be a big plot point, but it was obviously just thrown in, and I hate how thrown in it is.
Okay, I'll agree with that part, but I don't think you could get mad at spells.
No, I was
in
just...
this MCU.
No,
you cannot get mad at spells in MCU.
I was mad because it's a spell, then why didn't he just say it? It was like, it doesn't make any sense why he doesn't tell anybody. He's a villain. Odin is a villain.
Okay,
Yeah,
and I think
like
we
him.
agree with that.
Okay.
So, Luke, you can continue.
Hela appears through the portal, and I like where they transition into their superhero clothes. I thought that was pretty cool. Where
Pretty
Thor,
cool.
like,
I agree, Luke.
Yeah, that was good.
lightning, and then...
That's fine.
Okay, and then Hela... Also, I don't really like Hela because there's no reason for her to be evil, other than the fact that she's
no
just
motivation except for world domination. It's the same.
Okay, wait,
Which is
but
weird,
I
'cause
feel
she
like
is a
that could be
goddess
said
of
about
death.
any villain,
And-
though.
No, I
That's
agree.
like most
No,
villains in comic books.
Yeah, and MCU.
That is true.
And MCU,
That is true,
yes. Thanos and Killmonger are two that actually
I think
are
Thanos
two-
and Killmonger are like the only two that made
I agree.
break from this.
I agree. I still just don't think that... I think that it's still just as bad as the other movies, though, because of her.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. It is comic booky, I guess. And this movie is more comic booky than the others.
But like what I was saying, we go after this and we have two of the best that would go, like, it's so one-dimensional.
I wonder how Thanos was in the comics, if he was like that.
Well, it wasn't original comics, it was newer comics, so they probably made him like he is in the movie.
I see. Okay. Thor's hammer, dead. Then they try to go
Gone.
back up to Asgard.
I like that. I like that they destroyed his
Yes,
hammer.
very cool scene.
I liked it too.
This
I
next
liked it
scene,
too.
Luke.
Yes, and when they're fighting in what's it called? The bridge. I don't know what it's called. Where they
The
just
Bifrost.
get the Bifrost. Thank you. And then Loki gets knocked out, and so does Thor. And then Hela, boom, goes into Asgard and kills Zachary Levi.
Oh, they didn't have to do him like that. He
From
wasn't.
Thor 2 and 1.
They could have made him a better character. Like, he wasn't good, but it's Zachary Levi. They still could have, like, gave him development. Thor had development, but why'd they just kill him off, man?
That's pretty crazy. I don't think he had to speak, or he said, "Hey, who are you?"
Hey, die. And it was like killing off the old... What's that thing where it's like, let the past die? Oh, I was thinking The Last Jedi.
Nice.
But, like, where it's trying to kill off those old characters because it's like, yeah, this isn't the other movies. So that's fine, because I don't care about that group at all.
Okay.
And she says, "Scourge, you can be my little helper."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's a little pussy bitch, and he agrees.
Oh, okay. And then Thor winds up on Sakaar,
Yes.
run by the almighty Jeff Goldblum.
What a great planet. I think this planet looks beautiful.
I think
the
the
CGI
planet
they do
looks
for it
beautiful,
is crazy.
I like the look of it. I don't like Jeff Goldblum, though, in it.
Oh, that's another hot topic that the audience will have a
I
big
have a lot
problem
of I have a
with.
lot of hot takes in this one.
Big-
This one's
is
just
your
titled
hottest
Mark's
take
Hot Takes.
ever.
Mark's
Hot
takes.
takes. Absolute hot takes. You might as well just name the podcast that.
Mark's Hot Takes, yeah.
Mark's hot takes.
We'll get to Jeff Goldblum when he comes.
There's a shot of the Devil's Anus, foreshadowing what is to come.
Bad
Mark
name,
doesn't like that it's
cringy
called
joke.
Devil's Anus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an actual cringy one for me.
And then
Good.
there's that group of scrappers, I believe they're called, and they're about to use Thor as food because he doesn't have his hammer. But then Valkyrie comes and says he's mine, and then destroys everybody with her ship, and destroys everybody.
She just absolutely eviscerates them.
Yes.
Okay. I don't like when she fell off drunk, and I think part of the problem with a lot of these jokes, I don't like the music leading up to everything because it's so predictable. It's always music leading up, and then it falls, the music just stops, and it's so cliche to do those kind of jokes. And take Taika Waititi's other film that we've seen, Jojo Rabbit. It's not really like that with music, and I just think the music makes it so much worse in this movie, and it doesn't help these jokes. But I really like Tessa Thompson.
I do
And
like
her
too.
and Chris Hemsworth have the sexual tension that Natalie Portman wish she had with him in the first two because they
it's only
want to
like a few
boink so
scenes.
hard.
It's
Dude,
only like a few scenes.
They make eye
Good,
contact, and you're like, dude, they want to fuck.
They want to.
I think Mark is taking the wrong things from this movie. He is looking at the wrong things of this movie.
I'm so bored by
He's
everything
going
else. I'm
into
like,
this movie and looking for sexual tension.
no, it
in
was
this
there. Luke
kid's
agrees.
movie.
Luke agrees. There
There
was
was
sexual
some point
tension.
when they get on the ship. I mean, it's like in a one scene.
Yeah,
in
dude,
a
they
few
were-
scenes.
they
Luke
were like-
notices it in one scene, and you're like, every time they're on screen together, ooh,
Dude.
they want to go at it.
Dude, they're both attractive people. They make eye contact. They're like, it's happening. Hulk, get the fuck off our ship. The Hulk, I hate the Hulk in this movie too. But we'll get to that.
Okay.
This is
It
the
cuts-
best Hulk, by the way.
Ooh, I think it's
entire
the
MCU.
worst Hulk.
I think this is the best Hulk.
Oh.
This is the best movie the Hulk has been in the MCU.
I disagree, but continue, Luke.
Okay, it cuts to Hela talking to the Asgardians, and she just brutally massacres everybody in Superman style. Which I actually kind of like how it looks.
It looks cool.
Agreed.
It's just she's
Everybody.
too strong to be taken seriously for me.
Yeah, and I do.
That's
like,
what I like about at least that aspect of power ratios. Is she's too strong, and then in the end, it's not like a superhero comes and destroys her. Like,
I was about to say
that's
I like
like
how they-
really.
But this is
The
the
formula, like formulaic, is like, wow, this person's really strong, and then blah 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 blah. Story goes by, and then the superhero at the end of the day saves it, and he destroys the bad guy. This is like Thor realizing his weaknesses and like realizing that he needs help to defeat this supervillain, and this supervillain is too strong for
But
him.
hear me
And this
out.
is might be
Hear me
the
out.
only. This might be one of the very few superhero movies that actually does this, where the supervillain is too strong.
Hear me out. So he kills the guy with the crown, the CGI guy. What's his name?
Surtur.
So he can defeat him. So Thor is stronger than him. But then he
No.
resurrects him.
He is stronger than Surtur when he has not reached the Eternal Fire yet.
Because Surtur
So he
needs the
reached-
eternal
'Cause
fire
Surtur's
of
like-
Asgard to be like,
What?
ah!
Yeah, Surtur's like what? He's like 5 feet taller than Thor or whatever.
Yeah,
in,
I was
like, the beginning
confused
sequence.
because I didn't.
Once
get
he
it. I
gets
didn't
the
get that.
power from the Eternal Fire, that is when he becomes the size of a mountain, and then he can start wrecking shit.
Okay, I understand.
I usually don't like when supervillains are overpowered, but this one was different, I think, because of the way they handled the ending. But I wish that it was just handled differently, her introduction. Because
I don't like
feel
when super villains are
Odin would've-
overpowered and then the superhero defeats them in the end. Because it's
Captain
usually
Marvel.
some
That's,
ass.
Captain Marvel.
okay, we get a shot of Heimdall taking the sword of the Bifrost, which comes back later because Hela can't use it. Okay, but then I think it's a cool transition into Thor being in that chair at the
Agreed.
Grandmaster's
I again
place.
like that transition, Luke.
I think Taika Waititi does some pretty cool directing stuff. Like the transitions and how everything
He's
looks.
a good director.
I agree. I just think the writing is really bad for this movie, which he didn't write it. So
What'd you guys think about the Willy Wonka music being
that
played?
was
while
my
the voice...
favorite part.
It was also a very good part of the
That
movie.
I
was-
liked it as well.
That was my favorite part, other than the bridge at the very end. That 3-minute fight scene at the
That
end.
might be my favorite part, to be honest with you.
I really liked because that actually got me to chuckle. Maybe the only thing that got me to actually chuckle in this movie.
Okay, boom, cut to Jeff Goldblum. There he's introduced. And then he's the Grandmaster, and he just melts his cousin, apparently, into some goo.
I
So, Tony-
love Jeff Goldblum. in
Okay.
this movie. I love him,
yeah.
period. I love him in this movie.
I did not like him the first time. This time I think he's good. I actually don't mind. I like that they tried something different because he's a bad dude, but he's not like this. He doesn't act like an evil guy.
He's not
he
like,
acts.
I'm mean, I'm villain.
Yes, that's what I liked about it this time.
I just don't like that it was more jokey, people.
I see.
And he's another example of that, and I just don't like that tone for this movie.
I don't
And so-
think this is the type of movie for Mark.
It's not, and I'm allowed
No,
to
it's
have
just taste. It's just taste.
I have a more refined palate than you guys, and I hate this.
I think his film school has developed a more refined palette for him.
And I can't handle shake weights and Jeff Goldblum
B
being the bad
movie is
guys.
a testament to that.
B movie.
I think we'll have to.
B movie's a lot better than this movie.
We'll have to watch some
Wait.
really. We'll have to watch some really artsy films that Mark will enjoy later on.
I
in the
don't like
podcast.
artsy
Just
films
a little
either.
spoiler. Just a little spoiler
yes.
for his
No, I
more
David
refined
Lynch. David
taste.
Lynch.
For his more refined
I
tastes.
hate.
His film school
David
tastes.
Lynch.
I think film school made me hate all kinds of movies. What do you guys think? Because I hate indie movies and I hate this movie.
I agree.
But I like B movie.
Luke, you can continue. It's just
Loki.
a little tidbit for the viewers who will keep tuning in to our podcast.
What do you think of Jeff Goldblum calling it Asgard?
See, I don't like it.
I like how he pronounced it. Just the way he said it was funny. I think just if you don't read the subtitles where they literally put out ASS-guard,
Yeah.
you could just take that. You could literally just take that as him saying Asgard in a funny way.
That is true.
I took it as Asgard, and I did not like it. And then he also calls it Ass Place later, which I also don't like.
He does say that.
It's
Loki is in the Grandmaster's place
Yes.
because he had earned favor with him weeks ago because time.
Well,
Yeah,
also you see Loki actually get thrown out of the Bifrost teleport thing sooner than Thor, and then
Yes.
through space, just even in real life through space, that could be weeks.
Yes. There's the scene where Jeff Goldblum talks and then he just stops talking.
I just don't like him.
Yes.
I don't like him. I
Luke,
don't
it's-
like him.
Luke, did you not get the joke there?
I was kind of okay. I was kind
He
of spacing out.
says that he's like, oh, time on Sakaar doesn't really work that way. On any other planet, I'd be 1,000,000 years old. And then you expect him to say, but on Sakaar, and then he'd give his age. And then he just doesn't talk because he doesn't want to give his actual age.
I see.
It was weird to me, too. I didn't like it.
They tell Thor that he's going to fight against his greatest champion, whoever that may be, which is weird that they showed Hulk in the trailer, by the way.
I
was
agree. This
thinking
would have been
about
a lot cooler with it, yeah.
Because you wouldn't expect Hulk to be in space. Anyway, but you know from the trailer immediately. Anyway, he's thrown into that prison with Korg. You meet Korg. Thoughts on Korg?
I liked him here. I
Korg
just
is
don't like
good.
him later. I liked him here. Because I like the joke where he says Doug is dead, but then I don't like the second part of the joke where he calls him New Doug. So it's I liked
do
part
like
of it, but I didn't like the New Doug part, so I kind of
New
liked
Doug.
it.
What do
I
you
like
think about
Korg.
Korg, Luke?
I like him. Yeah, he wasn't bad to me. I think most of these things throughout this movie I think are fine. I think I laughed out loud maybe once or twice, but not at every joke, but it didn't like a detriment to the film when I didn't think it was funny. I think it was fine.
I think another part is, can you think of like another Korg-like character that you feel like does Korg's character better?
I don't even know. I guess that's why I like Korg. Just totally different.
I think that's the thing with this
and he's
movie.
Also made of rocks. So you think he's going to be, oh, I'm the Thing.
Yeah. It's very different, because you don't get, like... Well, first you need a sci-fi film, and then you need a rock monster, and then he has to act like Korg, right? So you don't get his character in, like, a lot of different movies. It's like a unique spin on it.
Different isn't always good, though. Guardians of the Galaxy was different and good, and I think this is different and bad.
I don't think different is always good, but I think this different is good. And when it hits, it's better.
That's fine. I mean, I like I said, my least favorite parts of Marvel movies, other than the ones that are actual comedies, are the jokes. You know, those cringe, like those jokes that they always just throw in. And this movie doesn't seem like it was written to be like a comedy like Spider-Man or Guardians. It just seems like they took jokes like the other movies and threw them into every single scene to make it a funnier movie, and just threw one-liners and like, oh, just throw this in there, that'd be funny. Throw this in there, that'd be funny. It doesn't feel. Yeah. It feels like that, and I don't like those jokes. And so it makes me hate this movie just like so much, because that's my least favorite thing about the whole MCU, and this whole movie embodies that.
I think a lot of the jokes are either hit or miss, and then it just depends on if you find it funny or not.
And I do not for basically any of the jokes in this movie, and it's too many of them that it overfills it. It makes me not want to watch this movie again.
I will. So hot take: Mark does not like any of the jokes in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, except for the Willy Wonka part.
I will say, because if you don't like the jokes, every serious scene is almost like they're building up to something, and then it's a joke. So if you don't like the jokes in it...
Thank you. That's how I feel.
I can see why, because it's like you're in the story...
Well, it's just also just
up,
a
and then bam.
Comedic movie. Like, if you don't like the jokes in a comedy, you're not going to like the comedy.
Yes, and that's just how I feel about this. But I think Marvel it's not just Marvel. Like, I think it does good in Guardians, both Guardians. I think it does good in both Spider-Man.
So you could almost, like, look at Thor Ragnarok as a differing tastes in comedy. You could say it doesn't do anything too right, and it does nothing too wrong. It's just how you view the comedy in it.
Yes,
and that's a very subjective thing. I think this movie is a very subjective movie, so I think differing opinions on this is, like, fine, but I think that's the good thing about this movie, is that it is so subjective. Because everyone can look at it from a certain aspect and feel a certain way about it. That it could be someone's 10 and it could be someone's 0. Well, no, I wouldn't even go like that far, because it's like you have to take it. You have to take it for what it is.
Stuff. Yeah.
You have to take it for what it is.
Like I said, I hate this movie, but I still gave it an average score.
A lot of what a lot of other movies is it's not the same subjectivity in them.
I agree, and someone could hate Guardians of the Galaxy because they hate the comedy in it. It's the same thing. I just hate this movie because I don't like this type of comedy. It doesn't feel like the other kind of comedy in the MCU that I enjoy. It feels different, and I don't think it works. And that's not Chris Hemsworth's problem. I think he acts fine in this. Mm-hmm. I actually think Mark Ruffalo acts really bad in this, to be honest.
Oh, really?
I think his acting is actually really, really bad when he turns back into Bruce Banner. But
I don't think the Bruce Banner parts in this movie are good. I think the Hulk parts in this movie are good.
This is my least... I guess since we're here, kind of. This is my least favorite iteration of the Hulk. Because
I hated Smart Hulk in Endgame.
I also don't like Smart Hulk.
One of the worst iterations for it.
I don't like that he's intelligent enough to talk.
I also don't like Hulk. I also don't like Hulk in Age of Ultron too.
I'd rather have him in Age of Ultron than this.
I forgot about Age of Ultron. I haven't seen that in so long. How was he in that one? Could he not talk in it?
It was like the first Avengers. It was the same thing. But then he flew away, so he was kind of smarter because he could fly.
He was smart enough to fly away and understand things that
Black Widow says to him. Yeah. But I just don't like the talking in this. I don't think it sounds good when he talks. I think because it's making the Hulk, who's supposed to be his whole development, and it's okay that they change this, but his development is he has to stay calm because if he gets angry, this happens, right? And they did that well. I had my problems with the first Avengers movie, but I think they did the Hulk stuff really well when the ship. Remember, he started getting angry and
right.
And that's my favorite stuff about the Hulk. I hate this that they made him also a jokey character when it could have been all this jokey characters, but then one serious character that they need to get back to normal because he's a problem. I wish they would have gone that way because I don't like this Hulk that can talk and is also making jokes to Thor.
I think
don't like
how
it.
they have handled the Hulk in the past is flawed, though. I think how they have handled the Hulk, it's like the same thing. I see it as the same thing as how they've handled Thor before. Is that before this movie, Thor was probably like 2% of people's favorite superheroes, and like you could go even lower with Hulk and don't even talk about Hawkeye. But like then them trying something new doesn't bother it to me.
Do you like Hawkeye's hair in Endgame?
I don't like Hawkeye at all.
I forget what it was.
He had it shaved on the sides and then spiked up like a fucking teenager.
That's what I'm talking about.
I just don't like Hulk in this because I'm actually a fan of Hulk when he has trouble dealing with like I really like Edward Norton. Mm-hmm. And he did a really good job portraying trying to stay calm when his eyes turn green, but still trying to fight it. And I really like that character, and I don't like this character.
My problem is I think that's like a flawed thing in the MCU. Well, that counts as MCU, right?
It is. It was made by Paramount, but it was. I mean, Iron Man was made by a different company, but they're all MCU. Yeah.
I'll say like taking that out of like
Universal,
these like
I'm sorry, it's Universal.
Like taking that out of like these new portrayals of the Hulk, I think that does it in like the more traditional way, but they've failed that in previous MCU movies.
I disagree that they failed, so I don't like that they changed it. It's just kind of how you view the Hulk, I guess. I don't like that they changed it because I don't think he was flawed.
I don't really.
Or he was flawed, but I liked him. Go ahead.
I don't really like that he jokes. I'm okay that he talks, I guess. I think it's.
I like his jokes in this movie.
I
think they were okay.
It's okay.
I don't know.
It's okay. It's still better than fucking Mark Ruffalo, who sucks as Bruce Banner, because, Edward Norton is the true Bruce Banner, and no one can tell me otherwise. He would have done this part so much better, too, being all confused, Luke, when, he comes out of it. He would have played it so much better.
Him.
So much better. He's so much better. God, yeah, seriously. I fucking hate Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner.
Is Mark Ruffalo done with being the Hulk?
I fucking hope so. If they have the Hulk, it's Smart Hulk anyway, so we're not going to see Mark Ruffalo anymore.
I will say I don't hate Mark Ruffalo as Bruce. I don't hate him.
Dude, his acting gets worse every movie. Pay attention to it. He stops caring, for sure.
I guess. Okay. Anyway, it cuts to Hela, and she destroys the ceiling.
Wait, was this before or after their fight?
This was before.
Okay, good.
She destroys the ceiling that shows that Odin is, a peaceful king. And then it falls down.
Also stupid. They just covered it up. It's so stupid.
I don't know why they didn't.
It's so stupid.
Anyway, yeah. And then she goes down below because there were Asgardians buried, and she turns them into zombies.
That was cool.
I like that they have.
I just don't like her big wolf. I don't like her big wolf because I think the CGI doesn't look great on the big wolf. But I like the army. I like the army.
I feel like the CGI in this movie though is better than a lot of other implementations of CGI in all different types of movies.
I don't disagree. CGI is just really bad a lot of the times. I dock it on a lot of movies. It was bad in Justice League when. Oh, I'm sorry, we weren't supposed to mention that. I was saying something bad. No, wait. I apologize, but I was saying something bad. I was saying something bad about it. Can I finish my bad thought about Justice League?
No, you cannot. You cannot finish your bad thought about Justice League. We're not talking about Justice League. This is
some other movie that will not be named also has bad CGI. So.
Okay. Thor's in prison still, and Loki talks to him, but it's not really Loki. He's a duplicate. And then there's kind of some character development there. Loki's like, I'm
but you never
wager
know
against you, baby.
My problem with Loki is you never actually know if it's character development or he's tricking them. So I like him in this movie, and I like his back and forth with Thor. But it's also like he did try to destroy Earth. They also just should have killed him, and it's just like
I was thinking that I was
I
like I
like that
forgot
part about
in
Loki.
Avengers that he was about to commit mass genocide.
yeah, he tried, and now he's a character that was good in Thor: The Dark World, faked his own death to become bad again. In this, he's good and then tries to be bad again, and it's just like I like him in this, but when you look at his character as a whole in the universe, it kind of sucks.
I think it's fine because it's Loki. Like that's kind of like
God of mischief.
like the historical like just like the historical thing with like Loki, like not pertaining to MCU.
I was just thinking back in 2012, you're like, oh my god, this guy is the reason why millions of people have died, and now he's just a hero, kind of, with our hero. It's kind of weird.
I was thinking, I was like, okay, first Thor, he's like bad and does stuff in Asgard, right? And I was like, okay, I guess you can make him good. But then I forgot that he was about to like murder an entire city in Avengers.
Yeah, he's trying to take up the whole world. Like,
Yeah. I forgot about that.
However, Tom Hiddleston is like one of the best performers with Robert Downey Jr. in the role, so I like that he's in the movie.
Yeah. Yes. I believe, Thor is getting his weapons for the gladiator match, and he realizes that Valkyrie... Well, you don't know she's Valkyrie yet. Now you do. And she,
The sexual tension, you can feel it, Luke.
The sexual tension.
The sexual tension is not good. It is not good. This is a kid's movie.
It's better than Natalie Portman and him.
The Dutch angle zooming in on Natalie Portman's
don't
face.
disagree with that, but it's also like, this is a kid's movie. You guys are gross.
It's true, though. They were looking at it. Dude, watch the first Thor again. Natalie Portman was, like, trying to boink him as soon as he landed on Earth. Like, immediately, she was all over him, touching his arms and stuff, and they were, like, trying to have sexual tension. It's just a thing in these movies. So, I just think they did a lot better in this.
Now, we get to the cameo. Stan Lee cameo being the barber.
What
I like this
great
one.
cameo.
I like this cameo.
That is a good cameo.
It is definitely one of the top ones for MC.
I also like Thor's hair. There's like, it's not
Much
cut
better,
perfectly.
much better.
I like that it's a haircut. But I like that Stan Lee didn't like cut it perfect, like some movies kind of do, where they like cut her hair and it's all perfect.
Yeah.
Is he almost hotter with the messier short hair?
Of course.
Kind of.
Of course.
Yeah, his hair is... I really like that, and I really like that they changed his whole look from, like, hammer and long blonde hair to, like, short brown hair and no hammer. Much better.
Yes.
This movie has so much potential, I think it wasted on jokes.
I see. Okay, then it's the gladiator match, and his champion is the Hulk. Woo!
Ooh, we saw this in the trailer, no one was surprised. Woo!
Gladiator match, baby.
Gladiator match was really good, actually.
I liked it a lot. But
yeah.
I like seeing Thor. You know what? I was thinking maybe
probably
they were doing
the
this...
best fight scene, almost.
Yeah. Yeah, I
like the bridge later a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because the lightning.
I was going to say, maybe Civil War came out a year before this and they weren't in it. Did they want to have Thor and Hulk fight?
Oh, yeah.
Because they weren't in Civil War?
Oh, yeah. Civil War, much better movie than this.
Anyway, gladiator match. And then, okay.
Luke's clicking through it.
Yes, Thor tries to do the sun's getting real low sort of thing.
I like that, but it went on a couple too many times for me during the movie. Like that joke of the sun's getting too low just kept happening, and it was too much.
I think it happened 2 other times.
He said it like at least 3 other times while he was like Bruce Banner, though.
Yes, there's that.
It's just too much.
Yeah.
I think he says it again when he first sees Hulk, and then he says it one more time as he's Bruce Banner.
But then, like, there's another one where they're just walking, and he says it again to him as Bruce Banner. He says it as Bruce Banner at least twice.
Okay. Hulk is about to kill him, beating him senseless, and then that's when you get the flash to Odin on a cliff.
And the Flash, I hate the Flash. I'd rather him just be able to summon the lightning because he needs help. I don't like the flashbacks cutting to Odin, zooming in on him. I think that looked really bad.
I kind of liked it. I kind of liked it, but I don't like Odin.
That's what doesn't make sense. Is he sucks? So why did this help him?
But I don't like Odin.
So it's like.
Also, why would the Hulk try to kill him?
He's still Thor's father.
Yes,
but he sucks. Like, I'd rather take Loki at this point.
He's still his father, though, so you can't knock him for, like, thinking of his father.
Truth.
I guess. I just wish they made his character not a fucking dipshit the whole fucking trilogy. Also, the Hulk tries to kill him, but then he, like, remembers him the next scene.
No, he doesn't remember him.
But he does later, because he says, you're the weakest Avenger.
No, I'm saying, like, in this scene when he's about to kill him, it's not what, like, him remembering him that pauses him from killing him.
No. I'm just saying, but does he remember him right when he sees him? Don't you think he would have acted a little bit differently?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think he would have tried to kill him. He might have tried to take it a little bit easier, like, do the show, but I don't know. It seemed weird that then the next scene, he was like, yeah, you're the weakest Avenger, knows who he is, walking around naked. I'm like, this is not the Hulk that I want.
Yeah.
Which is fine to say that's not the Hulk you wanted.
Yeah, okay, so Thor goes full Electro, but then Jeff Goldblum's...
I love when he goes full Electro. Those are the best. Those are really good parts. When he, like,
I'd say that him going everywhere. Full Electro is great, and it kind of makes me sad. Okay, so this is the part of Infinity War that I don't like. Mm-hmm. And it's that this entire movie was about Thor becoming strong without his hammer, and he gets these cool thunder powers, and then at the beginning of the next movie in Infinity War, it's like, I need to get a new weapon.
I think they needed it because it was the Heart of the Sun, so then it had to for Thanos.
In order to beat Thanos. I don't mind it in Infinity War.
I don't mind it either because he still uses his normal lightning powers that he learned here.
Well,
he
it's
just
also
needs it for the gauntlet. It was to add comic booky thing with the Mjolnir or whatever the new thing is, the axe, the Groot hand thing is.
Yeah, I think it's like I think it's like a thing though where it's kind of like you've strayed from the comic books a lot already, and it's kind of just like in there to like distract Thor for a while because they can't have him with the other superheroes just wrecking shit.
Yeah,
and they want this grand entrance with Thor in it.
It's
kind of like the thing they did with Wanda is she's one of the strongest Avengers, and then she's sitting back with Vision as they try to take the Infinity Stone out of him when she could have been outside the entire time and wrecking shit. And they try to like alleviate it by having like Black Panther's right-hand woman be like, where was she during this entire thing? But it's also like, where was she during this entire thing?
And saying she's still learning her powers and stuff like that. They like do it that
even though we've seen her like fuck up shit for like
but she's fucked up shit on accident. Now. That's a different story.
That is true.
That's a different story. Okay.
Didn't she killed that person in Sokovia in Civil War?
Yeah, but she like accidentally does stuff like until WandaVision where she's like super powerful on purpose later. So.
Yeah, but I'm saying that relates to like
it's the same thing as Captain Marvel being gone.
The MCU's problem with very strong superheroes.
Yeah, but at least they do it better than super. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to talk about that.
Dang it, Mark.
I'm having trouble.
You broke the one rule.
Yeah. I was just saying they did that the same thing with Captain Marvel in Endgame, where they just sent her away to do other business until the end.
There's other business on other planets.
Which makes me very happy that she wasn't the one to defeat him then. You know, that was good.
I just don't think they should have introduced her because it just kind of ruined the storyline.
I just hate Captain Marvel too.
She's one of the strongest superheroes. I think you could, if you were like to categorize power, it would be like her or Wanda and then Thor, but they're all three in that top tier where they just like completely destroy things.
Vision's up there too. Vision's up there too because the Infinity
I would say Vision's up there, but we never see it. Is my problem with Vision.
Agree.
We almost never see it, which is so sad. Is like he defeats Ultron, and then that's pretty much it.
Ultron was a big fat pussy though, so
no strings on me. Okay, Hela.
One of the better trailers though. One of the better trailers for an MCU movie.
I agree. Actually. It creeped me out as a little 13-year-old.
It was a really good trailer, and then you see the movie, and you're so disappointed.
True. And then Spider-Man: Homecoming has a terrible trailer that reveals everything, and the movie's amazing. So
yes.
Amazing is a strong word. I think
the best Spider-Man movie to date.
Ooh,
nice.
Has our Spider-Man podcast come out already?
The first one has it.
Yeah, that's the best Spider-Man movie.
I think Spider-Verse is my favorite.
Actually, Spider-Verse. I take that back. Spider-Verse is the best one.
Spider-Verse is the best.
We all agree. Okay.
Spider-Verse is the best.
Continue with Thor Ragnarok. Okay.
Hela tells Scourge that she was Odin's executioner, So Odin just straight up executed people. He just
That's what I'm saying.
did conquest,
He's a villain.
is what she said. Okay, and they try to get the sword to the Bifrost, only to see that it is missing because Heimdall has it, and he is fighting people in the woods. And you see that there's like a group of Asgardians hiding out with Heimdall. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, I liked them hiding and stuff. I don't think it went in a great direction. That was like super intriguing. Like it was an intriguing plot where they're hiding from her, but then it didn't really go anywhere. That was super intriguing, so it kind of ended up being disappointing. I like the hiding and like trying to be out of her way, but then once she finds him in the movie, it just kind of cuts away. It's kind of weird.
Sure.
And then you get Naked Hulk.
Yeah, this is the second time they joked about Hulk's penis in the MCU. I don't know why they think.
Zucchini?
Yes.
Was that the one?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You can't say that they're not allowed to have sexual tension in this kids movie when they make dick jokes.
Truth.
I think your obsession with the sexual tension is strange.
I was bored at everything else, so I focused on their eyes when they looked at each other. And
but then you also
listen. But after this movie, they did Men in Black International, so they like working together, and they have that chemistry, the back and forth. I like their little like. I think they.
But then also you're in like in Thor 1, Natalie Portman and, and Chris Hemsworth. Oh, the sexual tension between Natalie Portman and she want to look at it, blah 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 blah. Strange to take. It's a strange take from an MCU movie.
Pay attention next time. You'll see it.
I was not paying attention to that, mostly because it's an MCU movie.
Yeah, but then they joke about Hulk's penis, so it's like they're still joking about stuff like that. It's just
they also
like
joke about orgies.
A dick joke is very different.
They
make an orgy
like,
joke.
Don't
How's
touch
this a
anything.
kids movie? Yeah, they're like he has orgies in here. I'm like, wait, this is a kids movie. I'm allowed to talk about the sexual attention if they mention orgy.
Hulk points to the Quinjet that he arrived in. They need to get to it. And I forgot that at the end of Age of Ultron,
I forgot all of this. I forgot all this.
That he just left. Forgot about that. Okay. And then Thor can see through Heimdall, and then they talk about how Heimdall wants to evacuate Asgard because Hela's doing evil biz.
Sure. Yeah, and Idris Elba's good.
I like him a lot.
He just doesn't want to be in this
I just like
anymore.
him as an actor. Yeah. Yeah, they kill him off immediately.
Spoilers.
Sorry.
Continue.
Okay, and then it cuts back to Thor and Hulk fighting. I kind of liked it.
Wait, them fighting? I thought we already talked about them fighting.
Not fighting, arguing.
Arguing.
See,
I don't.
Give me your opinion on them arguing.
I kind of like it because it gives some more character to Hulk. A little bit more. I guess we know. Did we see that in Ultron? I forgot completely.
No. No, he barely. He understood them. He understood them in. He understood. What's her name? Black Widow. But he and then he flew the ship, so he's starting to learn. But he never talked like this or anything.
But it's also development into Smart Hulk.
Yes, it is. I just don't like Smart Hulk. I like Hulk that you can't control, and that's the issue. But that's just a personal thing, so I won't like him in this movie, but a lot of people like the new direction, so that's just one of those things.
Okay, and
Luke, your opinion on this new direction?
I think it's okay. I didn't really think much of Hulk anyway. I didn't really know what to think.
That was my
never really got anything with him.
That was my thing. Is he was such a bland character to me before. He's just kind of like, whatever. In Avengers Onward. In his own movie, he gets the spotlight, and you get to see more of him. But we haven't had
care more.
True.
We haven't had his own movie in a long time, and there's no sequel to that movie, and he doesn't have a standalone movie. So it's this Mark Ruffalo Hulk has been so bland, anyways, to me.
I think Mark Ruffalo is bland, and I like when the Hulk is mean because it's so different than Mark Ruffalo, and this just feels like Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, and I hate Mark Ruffalo, and I hate his portrayal.
I think the problem with that is Mark Ruffalo is already bland, so Bruce Banner is bland, and then you get the Hulk, and he's angry. But then when Hulk is angry, it's just so one note that when you have it too long, it's Hulk is angry, and the interesting part of the Hulk comes in when it's Bruce Banner trying to control him, but that's already bland from Mark Ruffalo.
Luke, you ready for another hot take?
Yes.
Give me Ang Lee's Hulk over this version of the Hulk that we have.
Whoa, wait.
The 2003 Hulk movie.
Yes, got it.
I'd rather have that Hulk than the one we have. And what do you think about the smart Hulk in Endgame?
I thought it was okay. I don't really have any opinions on the Hulk. I think
it's just Mark Ruffalo that looks different. It's no longer Hulk to me.
I think Smart Hulk, as a comic book character, it could be really good. His the portrayal into Endgame was not.
That's fair.
As a concept and in the comic books, good.
Mm-hmm.
As a possible character. In Endgame, not so much.
That's fair. Luke, continue.
Valkyrie comes in the morning times, and she has a friendship with Hulk.
Oh, they want to boink too.
Oh, God.
I'm kidding.
Thor talks about how Hela's back in Asgard, and Valkyrie's like, well, then Asgard's already lost.
Truth, I'm on her side.
Yes.
Okay. But she doesn't want to team up right then and there. That comes later when she fights Loki, I believe. Okay. Oh, but that's the ball hits him in the face.
Yes,
I hated
this.
The music was it's the music that doesn't help it, to be honest.
Yeah. Valkyrie says she fought Hela when Hela tried to fight her banishment, and then the flashbacks come later. And then Thor goes out the window and goes into the Quinjet, and the password for the Quinjet is Point Break, because it's Tony's ship.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like it.
I agree.
And Hulk comes in and he sees the video of Natasha saying the sun's getting real low, and then he goes back.
See, this is the best
Boy.
part of the movie is when he's changing back and he's trying not to. This inner conflict between Hulk is what I like. So when he's changing back and trying not to, that's the only part of the Hulk that I like in this movie.
Well,
I mean, I like their fights.
Do you like Hulk in Age of Ultron then? Because that's kind of his thing in that movie.
Yeah, I liked
most out of the MCU.
I liked him in Age of Ultron. I don't like the movie. I thought he was fine in Age of Ultron.
I don't like this weird. I guess it's. I think a lot of people don't like Hulk and I'll say Bruce Banner and Black Widow just because it's Mark Ruffalo and Scarlett Johansson, right? And that's
people like Scarlett Johansson more now. I like her too.
No, I'm saying people don't like that relationship because it's Mark Ruffalo is 50, and then it's Scarlett Johansson is young and so pretty and stuff.
I thought you meant people didn't like her in Iron Man 2 because I thought people didn't, but now they like her after.
No, I meant people don't like that relationship because that's the dynamic of it.
Yeah.
I honestly just don't like that relationship because it's so almost it feels out of place to me. It's just
100%.
Yeah, I don't like.
But that's not a Hulk thing. That's my thing is that's not a Hulk thing. She helps him calm down, which I like. I don't like the Bruce Banner her relationship because I don't like Bruce Banner in these movies.
Yeah,
so I like the Hulk in that movie. I just don't like. Never like Bruce Banner.
I think it's so out of place and just we need him to be with someone to calm him down. And okay, Black Widow, she's the female of the group.
Female, yeah.
She's the only female, so we're just gonna shoehorn something in there.
I'm glad they never went anywhere with that. They mention each other, but obviously what happened to her, it's it's not going more into that, which I like. It's just over. It never happens after Age of Ultron.
It's unresolved poorly, though, in my opinion. It's okay,
I think that is the Age of Ultron problem for throwing it in there that could never go anywhere, though.
Sure, and I think this is another problem or aspect of the MCU that it faces, is it's all these different movies have all these different writers and all these different directors, but you have to connect to them somehow. And you have to take the place of another. And I think Star Wars has this problem where you start off a trilogy with J.J. Abrams, and then you go to Rian Johnson, who wants to take it to a different direction. But then you put back J.J. Abrams, and then he has to undo these things that Rian Johnson did. So it's
it's not to that degree. It's not that degree, but yeah, there is stuff like that.
It's not to that degree, but it's even more complicated web of movies because there's just so many and so many different.
The Russo brothers handled it so well. Russo brothers are fucking G.
I like the Russo brothers. Okay.
I don't know how to.
Wait, Russo brothers were which movies?
They did Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame.
Yeah, That seems about right.
Okay, good.
Grandmaster tells Valkyrie and Loki to find Hulk and Thor, and then they fight each other, and then that's when Loki touches her forehead, and then she has that flashback of her fighting Hela.
I thought this flashback looked horrible. I hated the slow-mo of it. I'd rather just see it. Like, I hated the slow-mo.
Okay, you know what this flashback reminded me of?
Is it something you're not allowed to talk about?
Yep.
Something that I'm not allowed to talk about.
I don't
reminded
disagree.
me just of that. It was like, if you took that and you put it in something that we can't talk about, it would have fit right in.
I agree, and
almost
I
like
thought it was really bad in this, too.
that was like that entire movie. But I will say this about this whole thing is, it's strange to me, Loki's dynamic in like almost all MCU movies. Is I think he's a really great character, and Tom Hiddleston plays him really well, and I'm like excited for his new show, right? But I think it's weird because he varies in like power a lot. It's like he loses to Valkyrie, but then he's like destroying New York in another scene, and then it's just strange to me.
Yeah, that's
That's
another
why I
thing
stay
of
confused
different
with him.
directors, different writers that they just take Loki and do whatever they want with him.
It's like he's supposed to be like this really good supervillain, but he's like a trickster. And it's like fine if he's not like powerful on his own and he uses his tricks to win, but I don't know how he like doesn't win against Valkyrie.
Yes, I do not know. I agree.
Thor and Bruce, are walking, and he's like, okay, we want nothing to remind Bruce of the Hulk, and then they see the Hulk parade, and then they get lost.
You see
And
the
then-
Hulk parade.
Yeah.
And then this guy is about to kill him, basically, and then Valkyrie stops that creature, and then's like, hey, I want to be part of the team.
I
that's
felt
when
like her
the
change of
Avengers
heart
comes
was
in.
like instant. It was like crazy. Like
Yeah,
she sees a
She had
flashback
that
and then boom, she
flashback,
changed her
and
heart.
bam.
Yeah, it was. I don't think they developed that well enough. And Mark Ruffalo's acting here is bad, so.
You have the Revengers.
I like this
That's
next
fine.
scene. I like the
Revengers?
Revengers. I like the snake joke.
I like the
I actually like the snake joke, too.
I like
The
I actually
devil's
laughed out
anus
loud
is
with
dumb.
that one.
The devil's anus is
That's
dumb,
straight
but
up
I think
cringe. That
the
made my
best-
body repulse.
I
That
think
was
the best
cringe.
joke in the movie was the snake joke, and it was all improvised
Was it really?
by Chris Hemsworth.
You could kind of. He just
then
kind of starts
that-
talking, and I liked it. I was like,
that
oh,
was-
okay.
I
That
thought it
was
was
one that I
funny.
actually liked, and of course it was improvised. The writing of this movie, the writing of the jokes is not good, in my opinion. But that one was good. That one was fine.
Okay, Loki says he can get to their ship without setting off any alarms. So it's back to Loki's gonna help them for his own purposes. But you
Yeah.
don't know if you can trust him. Yeah. Basically every movie with Loki in it.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Is he good or bad? He's going to help us, but then he's going to be bad at the end.
I think this is another problem that this is like another thing with the directing and writing of like that changes movie to movie is everyone wants their turn with Loki. I think Loki is such a fun character to write, and Tom Hiddleston is such a good actor that all these writers want their turn of I want my turn of making him good and bad and good and bad.
And it happens
Yes.
too often. It happened in Thor 1, it happened in Avengers, it happened in Thor 2, it happened in Thor Ragnarok. It happened almost in Infinity War, even though he's in the first scene, it almost seemed like he was doing something. It's always something.
Yeah, because he had the Tesseract.
Yes, which I don't understand, because he was Odin this entire movie. He could have gone down there at any point to get the Tesseract.
That is very true. Then Thor and Loki do get help, where Thor carries Loki's in his arms, or he like carries him.
I
and
thought
then
that was another good
throws him.
joke of this movie.
I liked it.
The help, whatever.
Get help.
Yes.
Get help.
The get help.
I liked how he threw him. I thought the wire work was funny there. Like the way he threw him at him.
Yeah. So Loki, of course, betrays Thor, but I do like that Thor knew it was coming, and
Yes.
Oh my
he
god, they
zapped
made
him.
Thor not an idiot for once in these movies.
Yes. So he zaps him, and Thor steals the ship to get off of Sekar. Okay.
And we're done with Jeff Goldblum. Yay! Yay!
Whoa. If you
more
guys
Jeff
like Jeff
Goldblum.
Goldblum, please write us. and explain why you like
Tonight's
Jeff
Watch
Goldblum.
Podcast at gmail.com. Tell me why I'm wrong.
And direct it towards Mark himself, because he's the only one with this opinion on the podcast.
I also I hate this
unless
movie.
Luke, you like Jeff Goldblum?
I do. I like him more now.
All
that
right,
I
yeah, he
rewatched
also
this
likes Jeff
because
Goldblum.
I thought I didn't really like him in this, but I thought he was good, and he was good in Grand Budapest and Jurassic Park. I haven't seen anything else.
Jurassic Park, he's good. He's like a normal character. I do not like him in this, and I do not like this movie.
Okay, then there's the whole action sequence with the ships on when they're trying to escape to the Devil's Anus. I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah. Like all this CG, all the space CGI and all this action stuff is good. It's like Guardians. It all looks good. But again, it reminds me of Guardians. But this stuff is good. This part's good.
This part is also just like one part of this entire movie.
Yeah, it's like the action scenes and the way some stuff looks is like the only stuff I actually like about this movie. I hate the story and the writing, so I have to take it where I can.
When Thor and Valkyrie show up on the ship at the same time, that's the scene where I saw what Mark was talking about. With
the hot sexual tension between them. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I just want to say that was like the one scene there I saw that. Korg finds Loki getting electrocuted on the ground, and he says, "You want to come with us?" Because Korg's pretty cool.
It actually, Thor putting that on him was also like, it helps him, like it helps Thor, but it also helps Loki in this sense. Because, like, they just see some random guy getting electrocuted, like, oh, he's probably a prisoner.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has this on him. He's probably also a prisoner, and then they help him without actually knowing who he is.
You're right. Yep.
Okay, we're almost to the end. Yay. Because they show
we get to this part where, like, they go to Hela is, like, gonna make... Scourge, what's his name? Scourge. Cut off the head of a woman, and he's going to do it. He doesn't stop himself. Someone yells at him to stop. He was going to do it, but then they try to make him a redeemable character at the end, when he's going to murder this innocent woman by cutting off her head. But then he's a badass at the end. Movie. It's just like, how is this a character that, like, at the end you're supposed to root for and be like, yeah, he's good. No, he was going to cut off this woman's head.
I didn't know why they even gave him a redemption. I don't even know why he's a character.
I don't know. Me neither. Look, it's more comedic relief in a movie that every single character is comedic relief.
Yes. I agree.
Sure.
Oh, man, forgetting names. Hela.
I also just don't like her helmet, honestly.
Yeah.
That's such a weird thing to not like.
It's a nitpick. I'll say nitpick. I don't like the way her helmet looks.
She finds out that Heimdall was with all the people hiding. But then Thor comes in, or Heimdall escapes. I'm sorry. So they can't find him, and then Thor comes in, and then there's big action scene to finish off movie.
Big action scene is good. I don't like when Bruce Banner jumps out and then hits the ground.
Lands on the,
because he would die. He's still a normal person when he's not
That's
old.
strange that Bruce didn't die.
And it was just another jokey fun times when it's supposed to be a badass scene. Of course he's done that before. I would still just rather see the Hulk come out than him hit it and make a joke out of it.
Truth.
I like the fighting on the bridge, though. Like, when Immigrant Song starts playing here, I like it. I didn't like it before, but I liked it here, because it's like a callback, so they had to do it before, and I didn't think it worked well, but now it does. When it's
this is the second time they play it, right?
Yeah, and I'm saying, like, it's like a callback to... They used it earlier.
I liked it in both.
I also like Valkyrie is like she's like strapping up, and it's really close shots. It kind of reminds me of like Sam Raimi movies, where it's like Evil Dead when he's like putting on his like machine, like his chainsaw hand. It's like zooms in like that, and that's kind of how she does it.
You kind of even see this in Jojo Rabbit when he's putting on his uniform.
Yeah, I think it's just a Taika Waititi thing.
I'm fine with Immigrant playing because it's only twice. But go ahead, Luke.
I was just saying I like it here. I do like it here.
Thor gets his eye just hit out of his face. She like
Sure.
hit him,
I was confused.
and then it kind of just came out. I don't know.
I like that he doesn't have an eye, but I don't really understand what
I
happened.
like that he doesn't have an eye.
I
And
also
I
like-
don't
also
like
like-
how this has changed again.
I honestly think this might have been a last-minute decision, Tony, and they had already started filming Infinity War as well, and filmed his parts. So then they CGI'd the color of his eye. I think that might have
Dude,
been
I could kind
why.
of see that a
Like,
little.
and then they inserted the shot. I bet because they had to film weird stuff at weird times to get every single person in the movie. So I'm wondering if they didn't expect to do the eye patch, and that's why they had to add that part. Possibly.
Sure.
I do like the eye patch more. I like the eye patch more than him having both
They
eyes.
should have just CGI'd the eye patch.
But that would have looked. That
On
could have
every
looked a
single
lot
scene.
worse though than like a little orange, whatever. That could have looked a lot worse.
Thor is talking to Odin again on the cliff when he becomes Electro. And then
Fuck Odin.
I will say that I like how Norway looks. I like that it's like this huge.
Luke
As-
likes Norway. That's what we could. That's what you could get from this movie.
Why
Luke
don't you
likes
go marry
Norway.
it, Luke?
Okay, go on. I'll go on.
You like fake green screen Norway.
Anyway, Electro, and then he fights people on the bridge, and this is when Immigrant Song starts playing. When he's full Electro.
This is a very good action scene and a very good MCU action scene. Probably up there with some of the best.
They
Yes.
should have kept his lightning powers in Infinity War. They could have done so much more with it. Instead, he
still
gets
has
an
them.
axe.
He still
has
Instead,
them.
he gets an axe, and then he kind of uses his.
But his
electric
axe
powers.
is Groot's arm. Is that not
That's
badass?
pretty gnarly, dude.
I think that's
Groot had to cut off his
dumb.
own arm. It's so badass.
That's crazy.
I like the
it.
implication of Groot cutting off his own arm, but then it's like this is just a fucking piece of wood.
I like it.
I like it too. See, Tony has like
just
issues
like a
with stuff we
branch.
don't, and then in this movie, I have stuff problems that he doesn't. It's just,
Yes.
it's all subjective.
Um,
I'm just right.
Except I would say, oh, you're just right. He thinks he is right on a subjective matter.
I don't think I'm right. I think
You
'cause
just said I'm right. You just said that.
I was just trying to be a dick.
wow.
What I was gonna say is this is very a subjective movie.
Yes.
This is like more subjective than regular movies. Just
Normal
I think
MCU
comedies.
movies, I think too.
I think comedies just fall into that realm where they're more subjective because it's like how you take it, right? How funny it is to you, and I think that's different than a lot of other movies that won't be named because it's not a comedy and it's not liking, the jokes. Like, it's different when you don't like a joke and when you don't like very serious plot points in a movie.
I disagree when there's this many jokes, though. Then it becomes a part of the movie itself, not something like Avengers has a lot of jokes, the first one, and I don't like that movie that much anymore. It's fine, but they're like you can look past a lot of the jokes that aren't very good because there's just more there. And this
Wait,
one
what?
doesn't
Wait,
feel
wait,
like
wait,
there's
wait. What are you disagreeing on?
I'm saying that, like, the jokes in this movie, it isn't just, like, one little part. It becomes a part of the movie itself. It's not something I
Yeah,
can
that's
look
what I'm
past when-
saying.
Oh, I thought you were saying that was not the case.
No, I'm saying that it's subjective, and this movie is more subjective than other movies, and
Yes.
so
I
what
think
you
it's
get
maybe
from
the
it
most
is what
subjective-
you want.
Maybe the most subjective out of the MCU. Because, well,
I would
of
put
course,
Guardians of the Galaxy up there too, to be honest.
I'll agree. But can we all agree that Guardians of the Galaxy is better than this movie?
I agree.
One or two.
Either.
I think both are better.
I think both are better.
I think one is better. I don't like two.
I rewatched 2 this weekend. It's definitely a worse movie than 1, but I
I
might
like
like it
2.
more. I might like it more, even though I know it's worse because the character moments are so big in it. It's weird, like weird things. I really like Baby Groot too.
I think
like Guardians too.
two does well in explaining background, but I don't like two.
Okay, I think it has more character development that's important for.
That's what
Rocket.
I'm saying. Is it's important character development, but I don't like it.
Okay, that's fair. I think both of them are better. At least but you do think the first Guardians is better than Ragnarok.
I think the first Guardians is better than this. I think this is better than the second Guardians, and I think the second Guardians is still better than a lot of other MCU movies.
Okay, these are all like top tier ones. How do you feel about Homecoming? Up there somewhere?
Homecoming is hard because it's Spider-Man.
It doesn't really feel like an MCU movie.
Homecoming
one of
is
my
hard
favorite
because
MCU
it's
ones.
Spider-Man, and you have so many tellings of it. You have so many retellings of
This one's very
Spider-Man that it
different,
becomes
though.
difficult. Is that I like Spider-Verse, and the art that goes into Spider-Verse is actually insane. Like, if you know anything about animation and like how they like draw these things. But like, we could cover Spider-Verse sometime, so we'll talk about it during that.
Yeah.
But I think what they do with Spider-Verse is incredible. And then once you dive deeper into these other Spider-Man's films, it's like whatever. You could like whatever one you want, and I wouldn't care too much.
Gotcha. I care if you like this movie. I'm kidding. It's fine. We're basically done, right? Well,
Yeah,
he wakes up the guy, and then he blows up the entire planet.
Asgard is a people, not a place.
That's
Also,
he wakes up
Scourge, redemption
I think-
arc, machine guns,
I
destroy.
hate Scourge.
Well, Scourge machine gun is because of his. It's like a
Joker
callback to him in Doom.
Destroy.
No, it's a callback to him in
Right?
Doom because he played the guy in
I
Doom, the movie, which is based off of the video game Doom. So like that shot
I see.
you see with both of his machine guns, and he's like on top, and he's like shooting down on them, is like a recreation of like the poster, the game poster.
That's pretty cool.
It's still
That's pretty
stupid that they
cool,
give him
but I don't
redemption arc, though.
really like Scourge. Yeah.
Scourge is whatever. I don't care about Scourge.
They wake up the guy, and he blows it up. Because Asgard, saying Asgard is a people, it's fine. I just think it's a little bit too... How do I say this?
Cheesy.
Feel good.
Cheesy. It's too cheesy for
It's
me.
too feel good.
Yeah, it's too cheesy for me. I was like...
I like it.
Too cheesy.
I like it.
Too cheesy. And then they kill them all, and I love it. And
Okay, yeah, so then they're on the ship.
But they don't kill them all.
no, he kills half of them, yeah.
Also, I wanted to point out earlier in the movie, when Hela's walking down underneath Asgard, you see Thanos' gauntlet, and she's like fake, and then knocks it over.
That is
I thought that was
next
funny.
year.
Because
I like
that was in an
next year.
earlier
Yeah.
MCU movie, and that was their way to retcon it.
Yeah.
So that was good, where she's like fake, because people were like, is he gonna go to Asgard to get it? But then he already had it in his hand. No, so yeah.
Yes. Okay, yeah, we're at the end of the movie. Because Thor's like, which is almost like Guardians. They're like, where do you want to go? And he's sitting in a spaceship.
It was
at the very
exactly
end of the
like
movie.
Guardians. It was exactly like Guardians. Again, sitting in its shadow, it'll never be what Guardians is.
Okay, end of movie.
We get
Yay.
after
End
credit
of movie.
scenes of him saying that's when Thanos' ship comes up.
That's
and
where Thanos' ship
I
comes
do
on and
like-
undoes the entire movie.
Thank God. But
Ooh.
the beginning of Infinity War was for people like me who hated this movie.
Sure.
I like that Loki and Thor were talking, though, saying, am I going to be welcome back at Earth? And he's like, probably not. Because he did try to murder everybody.
Mass genocide, dude.
Yeah. So,
I don't know how you can...
I know. It's just weird. It's weird, but then I like what they do in Infinity War. And then there's another end
Yes.
credit with Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, and he's
Good
like,
old
it's a tie.
Jeff Goldblum. I
That-
love that. He's
that-
like, we'll call it a tie.
Okay, so it end like the first
Yeah.
end credit with like Thanos' ship. You're like, oh yeah, it made me want to go watch it immediately, right? And then you get the Jeff Goldblum, and then again, this movie leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and I don't want to watch it ever again.
Because you are a Jeff Goldblum hater, certified.
I will not disagree with that anymore.
Certified.
Certified Jeff Goldblum hater and Thor Ragnarok hater.
This is
Yes,
just
yes.
a certified Jeff Goldblum hater of actually Jeff Goldblum.
No,
Like
I'm
just
sure
how
he's a
he
fine
lives
guy.
regular vice.
I'm sure he's
I mean,
a fine guy.
I think if you watch any of the show that he has on Disney Plus, where like he's like History Channel and goes around, that's just him.
I should watch it, see if I really hate his
And
guts
you'd
or not.
hate him. You would hate his
Because
guts.
he acts like
You would
Jeff,
hate him.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. All right. I had a 5.3, right?
Yes.
And then a
Toby
7.3 and then a 7.7.
That is a 6.77.
All right, and where does that rank on our movies?
Let me go find 6.77. Oh, I can read them this time, right? Yeah, we're back in order.
Yeah.
I would just like to point out that that's way too high.
Do two above, and two below.
2 above. Well, I'll just real quick. Jojo Rabbit 1, 2 Grand Budapest, 3 Soul, 4 Hush, 5 Spider-Man, 6 Social Network, 7 Thor Ragnarok, 8 B Movie,
Yeah.
9 Zack Snyder, 10 Phantom Menace, 11 Hobbs and Shaw, 12 Gone in 60 Seconds.
That's pretty.
We've
good
done
to me.
12?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's good. That is. Good to me.
I'm glad that it's number 7, I said? It should be lower.
Yeah, I think so.
It should be lower. It should be lower. It should be under B movie. It should be under B movie.
See, this is what I don't get: is you like B movie, but you can't take this. You can't like take the same mindset that you go into B movie into this one.
I tried. It didn't.
I don't
work.
understand that.
I tried. It didn't work. It just didn't work. All right.
Sure.
All right.
No hints this week because next week we're doing Spider-Man 2 with Matt again. I watched 2.1 to get in preparation, so I've seen both the regular and the extended.
I need to watch it.
Yes.
Are we doing regular or are we doing extended?
regular?
Okay.
I just watched it to like have some perspective, just because I had time. But if you want to join us next week, we'll be doing Sam Raimi's 2004 movie Spider-Man 2. Spoilers: MJ fucking sucks. Maybe worse in this movie.
I forgot about it, so let's watch it.
Please rate and review if you like this episode because that helps us out the most. And you can email us movie suggestions or feedback and hate mail towards me because of my opinions on this movie.
Please. Yes, please.
It's tonightswatchpodcast@gmail.com. You could say anything and it'd be fine. Just no racist stuff, okay?
Gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah, no Gone in 60 Seconds quotes then. We will see you next week. And Luke, you want to roll us out?
And that
Wait. I'm so sorry. Any hit picks and nitpicks? We're totally off.
Well...
I don't think so.
Hit pick Norway.
Norway.
Hit pick Norway.
right.
I'll give a hit pick to Norway.
All right, that's fine.
Thank you.
All right, roll us out.
And that was tonight's watch. Yay.
Goodbye.
This movie sucks.